Greetings! I know you're watching this video right now inside the comfort of your home, sitting on a couch wandering in your foyer. You may also be in the office during your break time. This may be presented to you in the classroom connected to the subject at hand. Or maybe you just happened to come across this video by coincidence, recommendation, or sheer fate. But regardless of your situation, let me tell you this. You do not deserve to be complacent during this time. How dare you feign ignorance of the condition our world is suffering? How dare you sit there, living your own precious life where our future itself is at the stake of ever being lived? Do you have any idea what's going on in our world? The environment, the climate? Do we even know that sometime in the future, the earth will be inhabitable? It will become a cataclysmic world no longer capable of sustaining life. Do you even realize that? For your information, we are in a global crisis. Not just about the coronavirus, foreign wars, and political issues. We are in an environmental climate crisis that concerns mankind. It has been happening since 1988, and it had become worse. For many years, we have been warned by scientists, experts, and by their research connected to the environment, climate, and us, people. But all this time, what did you do about it? If you were to recollect what you did to prevent global warming, you are close to none, and I'm certain of that. Because honestly, only a few people and organizations really fight for the environment. Only a fraction cares. I blame you, but at the same time, I don't. Because we are not solely at fault. By burning fossil fuels, tearing down forests, and domesticating livestock, humans are progressively influencing the climate and the Earth's temperature. Large corporations and businesses that do not use environmental friendly methods and components are the main contributors to this happening. The greenhouse effect and global warming are worsened when large corporations and businesses add massive volumes of greenhouse gases to those already present in the atmosphere. To avert disastrous climate change, drastic reductions in emissions are required, as well as the widespread adoption of alternative fuels. The good news is that, as part of the 2015 Paris Climate Agreement, governments around the world have publicly pledged to reduce their emissions by setting new targets and developing new policies to meet or even exceed those standards. The bad news is that we aren't working quickly enough. According to scientists, we need to cut global carbon emissions by 40% by 2030 to prevent the worst effects of climate change. Not everyone, though, is in line with it. Even with the accord, big corporations still continue to subsidize the burning of fossil fuels for the sake of profit. Transportation has also become a consistent contributor of carbon dioxide, along with manufacturing and construction. The food system, burning of other types of fuel, including wood, industries, gas flares, energy production, landfills, and so on. There is actually a long list of it. With such a massive issue threatening the entire world, international action must be immediate and unequivocal. However, world leaders and national governments have made excruciatingly slow progress. Many pledges to cut carbon emissions have been made, but few are legally obligatory and targets are frequently ignored. There is still hope of avoiding the worst effects of climate change if countries move quickly on the pledges they made in the Paris Climate Agreement and implement the solutions now. However, because people see no action from the government, they took the initiative to call out organizations, large corporations, and people who have a great amount of contribution to climate change. Millions of people all across the world are taking action to protect the environment. Hundreds of thousands of students and citizens from all layers of society have flocked to the streets to demand a solution to the climate crisis.
If at this point you've got no idea why we're striking, then what on earth? You must be utter idiots if you're wondering why we're striking. Look around you. Look at the climate charge. Look at the amount of CO2 in our atmosphere.
Greenpeace has opposed oil firms seeking new fossil fuels to mine and burn throughout the years. People have also criticized the UK government for failing to act quickly enough on climate change. Even in the Philippines, non-governmental organizations and youth volunteers have banded together to defend the environment and call on the government to address the climate crisis. Meanwhile, regular citizens have erected barriers to tankers and drilling rigs, demonstrating that renewable energy is the answer to fossil fuels. However, it is not enough. Since hearing about scientists being arrested for protesting and attempting to call out a corporation for their large involvement in the use of fossil fuels, many people have taken the initiative to reduce their carbon footprint in whatever way they can. They chose to delete unnecessary emails, use Ecosia as their search engine, spread awareness through various social media sites, and so on. Even with every individual effort, I personally believe it is insufficient. Don't get me wrong, they are acknowledged and valued, but I don't think it makes much of a difference. It did in a small way, but given the time and duration constraints, it will never make it until the deadline. Yes, we have a deadline. We have approximately 5 to 8 years to reduce carbon emissions and cool the world, or else the climate will reach its peak and the environmental crisis will be irreparable. Who will be affected by such devastation? Us. Who is responsible for such happenings? Us. Who has the power to turn the table and save the earth for the next generation? Us. Even though we are the root of the problem, we still are the beacon of light that can make a change for the better. Now, let me ask you, with all of this happening right at this very moment, what are you going to do? Are you just going to sit there, use your phone all day and live as if nothing this serious is happening? Or are you going to help Earth breathe? We can all contribute to limiting global warming and caring for our planet. We can be part of the solution and influence change by making choices that have less negative environmental consequences. Speak up as a group and as individuals. Discuss it with your coworkers, friends, and family on a daily basis. Write to business leaders and people with power. When better choices could be made, challenge them fairly. Just as governments and big businesses are beginning to listen and take action on climate change, we're at risk of losing momentum. This is the best time to keep the conversation going because this isn't going away. Take part in different movements and organizations that help promote interventions in climate change and spreading awareness in different social media sites. Be part of activities that supports the environment like tree planting, cleanup drives, and so on. And if you can, be involved in protests against burning fossil fuels, carbon emissions, and other harmful things people do to the environment. Don't just hope and pray for a change. Be a part of it. It's the least you can do. So, what are you waiting for? Act now, speak up, and let Earth breathe.